We're delighted to be part of Riverbed's Global User Conference 2020. Net Consulting are a specialised consultancy and managed services company, helping businesses perform both optimally and securely. We help our customers deliver optimal digital experience for end users, deliver secure SD-WAN for medium and large enterprises, and manage the performance and capacity of mission-critical IT systems. All this by ensuring risks are managed and compliance is achieved. We hope you enjoy this virtual event, and together with our partners Riverbed, we welcome the opportunity to help you deliver on your digital strategy. And today we're going to talk a little bit about how we've used Riverbed technology in some fairly difficult customer scenarios. I'm going to introduce Alan Lavis, who's our enterprise architect and also our head of technical architecture. And Alan's going to talk us through how he's deployed, used and exploited Riverbed technology to create some game-changing results for our customers, and very specifically the UK Ministry of Defence. Hi Alan, so today we're going to have a chat about Riverbed technology and how you've used and exploited the use of Riverbed technology in the UK Ministry of Defence. Talk to me a little bit about some of the early days and some of the challenging environments that you deployed Riverbed technology.
Okay, so going back to 10 years, there was a lot of concern over the operational performance of all deployed applications. A lot of them were reaching back to the UK over low bandwidth, high latency links. So the applications had to be very, very specific in how they were consuming bandwidth and also what applications were going across the network. And at the time, there was no visibility or no means of actually validating what those applications were. Users would complain, said everything's running slow, and then the default reaction would be throw more bandwidth at it. Then it'd be settled down for a fine period of time, then it'll ramp back up. Now at the time, and still today, the bandwidth is very expensive. So we were engaged to put in a solution that could solve this problem. How could we put a capability on the ground that was basically seamlessly integrate with the existing deployed systems, give them a lot of benefit for minimum investment, and wouldn't impact the live services? So then, at the time then, because it was on deployed operations, both in Afghanistan and Op Eric, we needed to make sure we had size, weight and power was key and paramount in our design, and we needed the right product that would integrate with this environment. And that's when we started then using the Riverbed products. We were able then to deploy, say, circa 30 devices to the theatres across multiple security domains and make sure then we could effectively provide that level of assurance they need. And within a short period of time, we had eyes on the ground. We were monitoring our own behaviour, giving very little overhead on what the data we were providing back. And we could say, look, you've got the wrong applications going across the network at the wrong time. And then it made the mod step and realise, okay, we need to address how we think and how we use the networks. So it wasn't a case anymore of giving all the bandwidth that the users wanted. It was actually educating the users based on the data, so they had real data that can make real decisions off the back of.
Thanks. So I'm guessing some really challenging environments where you're trying to measure performance degradation, you're trying to measure capacity constraints. Talk to me about some of the scenarios and some of the challenging scenarios you must have faced when you were exploiting this technology.
Yeah, and again, we were kind of fighting upstream effectively. All the users were connecting back to the UK, so it was paramount that we made sure that we weren't impacting any of the user traffic. So we deployed a lot of capability forward into the theatres, and then we would use remote access protocols to make sure we can manage, maintain them. It started off with the Riverbed, introduction of the app response capability set. Because there was real buy-in and the mod got what we were achieving in this space, we deployed then the NetIM capability. So it allowed us then to go out there, discover the networks as they were configured, and then take that data and sort of like create a model. So at that point then we brought in the Net Planner and the Net Auditor suites, which allowed us to start saying, okay, let's run some what ifs. Let's say the users are on the network and, okay, there's an outage in a certain sort of forward operation base. What's the impact? So, okay, we can say that we know the network's going to fail and recover, but what's the impact on capacity? It was those kind of questions that people never really thought about at the time. And then by having the tool to show like what we could do with a simulation, we were able to say, look, you need extra resilience there. And this was paramount. So when they were doing the drawdown from Afghanistan, we were involved quite heavily in, say, what was the shape of that? So they would say, what if we took this patrol base down or this forward operating base down? What's the impact? And we can say, well, actually, look, you've got resilient in the network, but actually, because of the way the links are running, you can have some capacity issues. And the tools allowed us to theoretically model that and then give some real intelligence back to the frontline command so they can make some really informed decisions.
Thanks. So we fast forward to the last few years. What would you say are probably the biggest game changers from the use of this technology within the UK Ministry of Defence?
So one of the first big game changers for us in not recent years, going back a bit further, is the integration of Riverbed portal. At the time, a lot of the stuff, the good data was encased within the product itself. Mm-hmm. Portal allowed us to showcase those stats to a wider audience. Mm-hmm. So then we wouldn't just engage with technical users, we could show customer managers, we could show incident teams, problem teams, change teams, the data, and then they might not understand it out of the box, but with some sort of education around what we were achieving, they could really see some benefit. So it's not a case of them tracking the application performance, it was more of a case on if something was going wrong on the network, they could see it. Mm-hmm. And that has only been compounded then with the release of the newer sort of recognized apps with Office 365. So then we can break down not just one big chunk of traffic, we can start saying this is SharePoint, this is email, this is PowerPoint. So then when we see a particular application slow down, we've got that real benefit there. The unified comms again, rather than have the users phone up and say Skype's not running very good, we've got the call quality, the mean opinion score, so we can start seeing, look, people are going to start complaining. And because you're working in this whole sort of integrated sort of service integration and sort of asset management sort of SIAM context, we are able to say, you need to go talk to that supplier. So otherwise, there's been a tradition of, it's not me, it's not me, it's not me. But with the data we got then from the app responses, it's really accelerating our time to fix and resolve issues.
Thanks, Alan. So across Net Consulting's business, we're obviously using Riverbed technology in a number of different accounts inside the UK Ministry of Defence and outside. What would you say are probably the most strategically important technologies that we use today? Again,
just for that, like coming from a networking background, people say actually like the network was running slow. When? An hour ago. Well, the data's passed. But it's having the app response settings like that, sort of like the flight data recorder. We've got that sort of hard drive on the network that can say, let's go back and have a look what was happening. And we might find, okay, it was happening today, but it may have looked again the day before. This could be something that's happening every 24 hours, every day, every week. Having that long historic data, we can start doing some real powerful trending and then understanding, okay, what's going on here? And then we can dive in deeper. And then we can go so far with the app response, but then we need to say what's happening under the hood. And that's where we've traditionally used the NetIM family to start saying what's happening at the network, what's our throughput, what's our congestion looking like, what's our interface errors. So then we're using the two to complement each other. So the more parts of the jigsaw we got, it's more accurate a picture we can give back to the end users.
So it sounds to me like this technology could be applied to multiple different sector environments, whether that's education, whether that's defence, whether that's finance sector.
Yeah, without a doubt. So we're talking predominantly here in the mod context, but it's applications, it's network, there's managed suppliers. So from that point of view, as long as you've got those three in the mix, it can be put everywhere and anywhere. You'll always get the same problems. You can have users complaining about the performance of applications. You need some way of measuring it and containing it, and then ratifying to an extent, because sometimes you might got that user who likes to complain about everything. This gives you that evidence to say there's a problem here.
Thanks, Alan.